Hello, if you're new here, my name is Marlene, and I would like to share with you a little bit of my new van build, the progress. Um, Firstly, what I've learned is that I have to slow down. Just like making Christmas cakes, cheese, and good wine, nothing can be rushed. And that's what I've been taught, a great lesson about not being rushed. I was so frustrated at not getting the van, and now that I've actually got it, things are so slow that I have actually come to this realization that I just have to slow down and just wait for the process to go as it should. Things that are outside of my intervention. It was like looking for the bed. I was really concerned because the bed to me, because I like good night's sleep, was so important. And I was looking at metal beds. I was looking at all sorts of like sun lounges, all sorts of different ideas. And again, in the 11th hour, I was talking to my friend in a thrift shop, and I saw a couple looking at this folded up bed, but it had the wooden slats on it. And I know that they are quite comfortable because they have that curve in them, so it allows for a bit of spring and a bit of give. But also, metal does attract moisture. If there's moisture in the room, it'll settle on the metal. Although this has got a metal frame, I could actually cover it if I needed to, but there's plenty of ventilation, so I'm sure it will be fine. So I scuttled over and scored that. So I was very happy with that because that was one of the main things I knew I would need. And it even matches the colour of the van. It's the same dark blue. But yeah, once I let go of the time issue again, I found that things started to fall into place quite well. So, enough chatter. I will take you now out to the van and we'll just talk about a few of my ideas. And yeah, so here we go. Right, you can see that there's a bar across here. And I've had this brainwave because I've got this piece of wood that I've had for left over from another project, which I'll sand down and maybe stain slightly darker than that. But the idea being is that you put on the back of the wood a couple of those, like what I call a C-clamp. I don't know what they are, but they'll fit on to the bar. They'll clip around like that on the bar. So it will be able to swing, if you can imagine that. And I'm going to make this piece of wood into a table. So the table will have probably a piece of dowel leg. So it will swing up and the leg will go underneath and that will become a surface. But when it's not being used, it will just stay there. So that comes down over the back of the front seats and the motor. Because this has got this, I'll try and swing around, but cramped in here without a phone that's got like a fisheye lens. But you can see I've got a 3-seat seat here and I really do want to keep it. So my idea being that if I can keep the seat here, which I'm sitting on now, that gives me 3 seats, a table which will be used for working, like a laptop, arts and crafts. I can cook on it. I can do my washing up in my washing up bowl. So it'll serve a multi-purpose. It perhaps could be a little wider, but in hindsight, perhaps with the doors on either side here, it won't encroach too much. But the beauty of this seat that I'm sitting on is that it actually flips down and then rolls forward. And so when I want the space and I don't need the seats up, I can actually roll it forward and it'll go, it'll rest up against this piece of wood. All going well. It should do, because the wood's not very wide, not very deep, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so that's that aspect of it. So my thinking is this will become a really great serviceable area. Now I probably will need to move the seat back forward so that I can access the back more easily from the side doors. Now these side doors, you'll notice I've got, it's like cardboard basically, like a pressed cardboard like they have on the back of furniture. And it's obviously, it looks worse on the camera, but it's obviously got wet in the past. It's not wet now, it's completely dry, and it's fixed on with these studs, these plastic studs. So I had thought about painting or lining it in some sort of fabric, but because the doors can be exposed to weather maybe, I don't know how, to be honest, because when that door slides in, how does it get wet? Anyway, I'm thinking a vinyl washable wallpaper. So that's my thinking for these two doors, the one on that side and the one on this side. Now for the back, oh, can I get this? You'll see that there's 2 bits of ply on these side walls. It's just my raincoat. And I will do the same with those. Now, you may also notice that this van doesn't have any holes in it. There's no screw holes, there's no gaps like I've seen on a lot of the builds. There's just no holes at all. So as far as insulation goes, I'm not going to bother because it would only be those 2 panels there. And it's such a small area, I can't see the purpose of it. I think my biggest problem with keeping cool in the summer and warm in the winter will be having those windows covered. So that's a priority. So that's my thinking there. I've still yet to remove all this ply. At the moment, the weather hasn't been good and I don't want to get the ply wet by having it outside for any period of time. So anyway, so that's my thinking there. Now the other thing about, still talking about insulation, now there's 2 key aspects that I've discovered since watching YouTube suggestions on conversions, is that condensation is only a problem if you don't ventilate. And I found that in my other camper out sitting over there. That unless you open cupboards, unless you're opening the windows and doors every day, that's when you get condensation. So I'm not worried about condensation in the van because, as you can see, other than the bits of metal around the sides there, the only thing I can do is perhaps in the future, I can perhaps cover that with like a carpet, like the 4-way stretch carpet. But as I've said before, what I want to do really is live in it and find out what problems there may be and fix them as I go, rather than trying to imagine what it's going to be like and doing things that aren't necessary. And as you can see, the headlining is actually really, really in good shape. So I'm not going to touch that because in the future I may go ahead with a marine type of vent, which will be just no fan in it, just well maybe, but I've seen solar powered vents, so they could be an option. And I don't want to, and I'd have to cut through that headlining, so I'm just going to leave it for now. I want to do things fairly basic and easy. But yeah, as far as the insulation goes, I've seen online that those side doors are all sealed with a plastic bag or like a plastic sheet to cover all the mechanical sides in there. So there's not going to be any space there to squish anything. And I'm imagining that the back plywood there that's on those ones, I think, and the back door as well, I think I'm going to find that there's not going to be any space in there. But as I said, if I'm finding that there's a need for it, I will remedy it when the time comes. As for the floor, I have a couple of options. I'm adamant that I would like cork tiles and eventually may do that in the future. But in the meantime, I've got to get rid of all these other plywood at the back, the storage area, and bring it all back to this base, which is a floor, and give it a jolly good clean. And because I'm, as you can see, can I show you? Yeah. If you can see, the legs of the seat are attached there. Oh, and there's one at the back, which I can't get under the seat to show you. But trust me, there's 4. And what he's done, the guy that previously owned it, he's cut the plywood to fit those legs. So to actually lift the floor, I'd have to undo those, and I don't think I'm going to have the strength to do it, to be honest. So what I'm hoping is that once I've removed all the other wood at the back, I may be able to jack this up, the height of that leg, just far enough up so I can give it a jolly good clean and inspection, and if there's any need to be painting or sanding, hopefully I can get in there and do it from the sides and the back without having to take the seat off. But I mean, if I have to get the seat off, I'm sure I'll be able to track someone down who can undo them. And it's just that if I can do it without it, it'll be much easier. So yeah, cork tiles in the future, but I think I may use the same foam, what I call jigsaw squares tiles, because they're extremely soft. They really insulate well. I've got them in my camper to help with the cold floor. And then none of it will be seen anyway, really, because I'll have mats on it. So, because they are ideal, because you can take them out, shake them, and give them a clean. Whereas if anything's fixed, it's hopeless for cleaning. Okay, so I know I do apologise for those extremely close-up shots. It's very hard to get a good idea, but hopefully in the future I'll be able to remedy that. But meanwhile, a little update on for those that have been following and will want to know, an update on the actual mechanical side. Now, the guys, I did specify to them that I didn't want them to rush, because I'm really trying my best to be slow, and to just do the work on it when they could. And they've been very, very helpful and keeping the costs to a minimum. So what they've actually advised, I'm a person who, if I see that there's something needs doing, I just want to fix it, just fix it, pay the money and fix it. Whereas because they're mechanics, they don't see the problems as I do. I have a different vantage point, shall we say. So what they actually did was the assembly arm had a nut loose or a bolt, something loose. So they've tightened that. And where there was a leak in the crankshaft cover, I think it's the crankshaft cover, they have put a new seal in it, and they've put it back together. And now see what they're doing is they're looking at the easy fixes first, eliminating those, and waiting to see if that's going to fix the problem. Me, I saw great big jobs. Oh, you've got to fix that. And they don't work like that. They work like professionals, which is good. So what they did was explain to me that should there be a problem because if they had taken it apart to look inside, it would have cost me a fortune. And if it had been okay, that would have been wasted money. So for me. So what they have suggested is to keep an eye on it. They've put that new seal in. If it leaks, or if I hear any horrible noises and lights come on or whatever, then we'll look at getting the job done. That's going to be about the 10-hour, as they said, 10-hour job, which means a lot of money. So I do appreciate what they're doing for me. And the other thing is that they gave it a full service and they did the transmission, and so they've pretty well done everything that was actually required, not what I thought should be done, which is a blessing. So that's the mechanical side sorted. I don't think there's anything else. So if there's anything you'd like to know, please ask me in the comments. I'm always happy to chat with you and help in any way I can. So, yeah, it's happy days again. I think it may seem like it's taking a long time, but I think once I start and move everything in there, it won't take very long at all because of the no build style of build I'm doing. I've got some plastic drawers that I've been had in storage for many years. They also match the colour of the car, the van, which is a sign maybe. So yeah, I'm going to keep it to a minimum of the expense, and I will keep a record of what it's costing. So as it'll be interesting to see how much I can get it done for. So meanwhile, it's yeah, it felt like spring the other day, but it's got back to cold again. So I hope wherever you are, you're having a wonderful week. You're looking after yourselves and enjoying life just as you should do. And thank you for being here with me today. I really do appreciate you. I always do. So until next time, take good care and keep smiling, won't you? Bye for now.